The metal element. A few facts about the metal element. Likes definition, structure, and discipline. People who identify with strong metal element represent virtue and authority. They seek to live according to reason and principle, hold self and other to the highest standards. They respect beauty, ceremony, and refinement. The metal element connects to the soul. Just as metal helps people process and let go of all the energy in the body, it does the same in nature. After the outward expressiveness of summer, the world let go of the past, goes inward, and prepares for winter. The metal element characterizes the places that we allow to let go. And because of that, the element symbolizes the emotion sadness. What the metal element represents in SMTW? The metal element represents the balance between sadness and integrity. By understanding who we are, our strengths and values, we let go of the things that don't serve us anymore. By learning our boundaries, how to express our boundaries, not from a place of rigid, from a place of flexibility. We know that we are protected, and we know how to navigate and communicate ourselves to the world that has become to be very demanding. When the metal element is balanced, you'll see people who are holding very high the value of integrity, honesty, authenticity. That's the most important part in their life communication with others. When this element is out of balance, you will see people who are very stuck emotionally, very bitter, and they have a story, and kind of a victim story, and it's not necessarily supposed to be kind of like the normal prototype of victimize. We all have victim stories, and sometimes we tell our story to show ourselves and others that we were, powerful in that story, but it's still a victim story. And only when we changed the victim story into a different story, same story, but a different perception, a different point of view, where the story and you as a main character in this story, you're taking responsibility, and you change your, boundaries that up until now you couldn't even think that you can put some boundaries to all those kind of emotions that you're holding on and you cannot let go. And by that, the metal element is out of balance. All the bitterness, the judgment, sadness. The metal element is connected to sadness because only when we know how to empty the vessel to the half, that's where we keep ourselves in balance. That's where we find the fine line between, emptiness, stillness, sadness, to the place of integrity, authenticity, and honesty. It's a fine line that we, a human being, a normal human being, needs to go through all the emotional level. But the smart move here is to learn how to put the boundaries to yourself, to your emotions, that they are above and beyond. That's where the metal element, that's his role. That's where he takes control. And by cutting, the metal, by put boundaries, by learning how to really be honest with ourselves and to peel a layer and let go, in order for us to find the essence of our values. That's the metal element in SMTW. So sadness becomes integrity when we learn how to let go of things that are not serving, and we learn who we are and our value. In the 5-element model, the metal element nourishes the water. The reason for that, because the metal element stands for boundaries, and water is the element that really needs some boundaries so it will be able to express itself. If we think about nature, think about all the channels that they need the metal so the water will move from one place to another. So if we think about that, only when we know our values and we let go and we know our boundaries and we know how to express in a healthy way our boundaries, we create wisdom. We support our wisdom and we learn how to work with our fear. In Chinese philosophy, the metal element restricts wood, because wood can be very aggressive to earth. If you think about the roots of a tree, they can be very, very aggressive and they can uplift a house if we don't know how to restrict them. Therefore, the metal element is there to protect, to put the boundaries, to learn how to restrict and to keep in balance the wood element, which in Show Me, the wood element is the inner child that needs boundaries. A child without boundaries is a lost child. A child without boundaries, and I will talk about it on the wood element, is a child that feels unsecured. Is like, think about driving in a highway with no lines, and every second can come a truck in front of you, and the fear and the layers of fear are getting accumulated because of lack of boundaries. So the metal element, if it's out of balance, the case will be either lots of boundaries to the wood or lack of boundaries, which is such an important part here to really modify and balance the metal element so the wood will be healthy. If we have too much boundaries, it's like a child that feels very, very stuck and doesn't know how to express because there are lots of no in his conversation from the outside sources, which is mostly his parents or other authorities that teaches him boundaries in a bad way. And on the other side of the coin, we have lack of boundaries. Parents that the metal element is not balanced can, as I said before, can can have lack of boundaries, and that where the child feels also a lot of fears and doesn't know how to express himself well. So it's such so the metal element plays such an important role in the 5 element cycle.